Assalamu alaikum my dear brothers and sisters. Once again welcome you all to my YouTube channel. Let's join pharmacy. Yes, today I am here with the part 2, the next question in pharmaceutical microbiology of your third semester B pharmacy. Okay, yesterday we discussed about part 1. There we discussed isolation. Okay, techniques, isolation techniques of the pure culture. Okay, how to maintain the pure culture, streaking method, pour plate method. There we discussed on that. Question is fixed for 10 marks. So if you not observe that video, okay, or you are unable to visit that video, first go, my dear brothers and sisters, go and visit that video. Okay, I will provide the link in the description. You can go through that, or you can go to the part 1 of the important questions where in pharmaceutical microbiology. Yes, and next question, the 5 marks question, that is which one in this lesson only, unit 1, the 5 marks question is here. See this one: describe any two industrial important techniques of preservating bacteria. Okay, basically in the 2019 discussion was asked in the 10 marks. Okay, joint question. Now maybe this question in the future ask in 5 marks, right? The techniques of the preservating the bacteria. How can we preserve these microorganisms, or how can we preserve the pure culture? Now, for that, the answer is this one. See here, methods of preservation of the pure culture, and it is very important to understand you means how to prepare, how to preserve, how can we preserve this pure culture. See, after the separation or isolation of any organism in pure culture, then it is very important to preserve the microorganisms. Okay, because the importance of the preservation is to observe their morphological characteristics, or to observe their physical characteristic, chemical characteristic, or if anyone want to study on those microorganisms, means he should preserve that. Okay, and some of the preserving techniques are this. Here one is refrigeration. Refrigeration, it is a simple technique, and it is not commonly used for microorganisms, but yes, it is commonly used where in the homes, like we are using fridges, no refrigerators. Pure cultures can be stored successfully in refrigerator or cold rooms for 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, pure culture, the prepared pure culture, we can keep in the cold rooms or refrigerations in 0 to 4 degrees Celsius. This method is applied for short duration, means for 1 month only. Okay, for 1 month only, that is 2 to 3 weeks in bacteria, 3 to 4 months for fungi. Means we can keep that particular fungi or particular bacteria only for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, in general for 1 month. Okay, beyond that 1 month we cannot preserve the microorganisms. The pure culture gets destroyed. Why? Means their growth continues slowly, nutrients being utilized and waste products are released in the medium, which finally results in death of the microbes. Okay, here what happens, their growth rate suddenly decreases, nutrients being utilized, because all the nutrients get utilized from that pure culture or the broth culture, no? So that why the waste products, yes, it's common. If the microorganisms in eating something, means the waste product should be released out. Okay, expelled out, excreted. These excreted waste product will be filled on that pure culture, and finally the microbes will be died. Okay, this is the type. Which one? That is a refrigeration. In our home, for an example, we are keeping for 1 day, the whole 1 or 2 days, okay, some rice items or some dal items. Why? Means it will preserve. Okay, if we keep that only for 5 days, 6 days, means in winter season it may, but in summer season no, my dear brothers and sisters. No, in summer season it gets spoiled. Got it? Why? Means because of this capacity, refrigeration capacity of the microorganisms. Now, paraffin method. See, this is the simple and most economical method of maintaining pure culture of the bacteria of the fungi. Paraffin, it is the paraffin liquid you are observing in the markets, or you are observing in the medical shops. Paraffin liquid, the white viscous, it looks like the same glycerin. You observe the white viscous, same, it looks like the glycerin. Paraffin, this paraffin, it is used as in some patients it's used in anesthetic also, and it is used in industrial as a co-solvent. co-solvent, like how we are using glycerol, no, the same way it is using as a co-solvent, paraffin method. Okay, and also it is used to treat the constipation. Now here sterile paraffin is poured over the slant of the culture and stored at the room temperature. Sterile means the paraffin is free from the microorganisms that should be poured over that pure plate, means the pure culture plate. Okay, and we have to store in the room temperature. Paraffin layer encloses the anaerobic condition and prevents dehydration of the medium. That white viscous layer means paraffin layer, it encloses the anaerobic conditions, means it form a layer over that microbes, and it helps to preserve that pure culture from any other dust particles or from any other type of the microbes. Why? Means because it will cover the layer, no, over that pure culture. For that reason, the second one is, that is a paraffin method. Let's discuss about the third one, that is a lipophilization. See here, lipophilization, the better technique. In this method, the culture is rapidly frozen at a very low temperature, that is a minus 70 degrees Celsius, and then dehydrated by vacuum. Okay, by vacuum we are removing all the water particles. Now see, minus 70 degrees Celsius means, yes, gradually, or yes, it's a rising question. In minus 70 degrees Celsius, what happens? There will be formation of the crystals. Okay, the remaining liquid water molecules, they can be dehydrated by vacuum. In this condition, what happens? The metabolic activities of the microorganism stopped. Yes, metabolic activities means the flow of the blood, or any type of metabolic activity, generally the excretion of the waste product. No excretion means the microorganisms cannot die, because the nutrients can be there only in the broth culture only. Okay, at the certain time they can consume that. This is the method can be used for the preservation for the years, 1 year or 1.5 to 2 years. We can use this lipophilization. Just you understand what we are doing here. We are keeping that culture in minus 70 degrees Celsius. Then we are dehydrating the remaining water by means of vacuum. Then in this condition, all the metabolic activities are stopped. Okay, this method is used for the years. This is the concept how to write. Then cryopreservation. Cryopreservation, very important. It is this technique. Maybe you studied in your HSC or in our 12th board. That is cryopreservation, stored in liquid nitrogen. Liquid nitrogen we are storing, okay, to preserve. Now see, this method is suitable for long-term preservation of microorganisms that do not survive freeze drying. If some of the microorganisms, they cannot be survive in the form of the freeze. Freeze means generally the water turns to crystals. If some microorganisms are good or they are suitable for the freezing, but some are not, some are unable to freeze, means if they freeze means they will die, वो मरने का चांस रहता है. इसलिए उन बैक्टीरियाज को, उन फंगीज को और उन माइक्रोऑर्गेनिजम्स को we will keep in the cryopreservation, liquid nitrogen. Here the microorganisms of the pure culture are rapidly frozen in liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees Celsius in the presence of glycerol and dimethyl sulfoxide that prevents the formation of the ice crystals which may kill frozen cells. मीन्स लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन आपने देखा होगा माइनस 196 डिग्री सेल्सियस तक उसका टेम्परेचर रहता है. माइनस 196 डिग्री. वन ऑफ द कूलेस्ट केमिकल इन द वर्ल्ड, लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन. उस लिक्विड नाइट्रोजन को हम फ्रोजन ना होने के लिए, क्रिस्टल ना होने के लिए वी विल ऐड ग्लिसरॉल एंड डाइमिथाइल सल्फोक्साइड. ओके, सल्फोक्साइड, क्योंकि फ्रोजन हो गया तो द सेल्स विल बी डाइड. विच सेल्स? These broth culture or the pure culture cells will be died. Microorganism cells will be died. Okay, by this method some cultures retain viability or they maintain for 10 to 30 years. This is the capacity to preserve the microorganism. Some of the techniques. Now the short techniques, these are the remaining two short techniques I will tell you. One is a storage in gelatin discs. One more, my dear brothers and sisters, the cryopreservation. This is very important to store the pollen grains. Okay, pollen grains. We are storing the pollen grains by using this type of preservation. That is a cryopreservation or liquid nitrogen preservation. Pollen grains to study their development. Then storage in gelatin discs. In this method, the bacterial stain after growth is suspended in molten nutrient nutrient gelatin. Here what happened, what we are doing means gelatin disc we are taking. Gelatin means the discs which are made up of gelatin type of the liquid, or gelatin type of the jelly like substances, gelatin. This method is selective for various species of streptococcus and enterobacteria. Then storage is the sterile oil. Sterile oil means that is the oil which is free from the microorganisms, means 0% microorganisms. That is a sterile oil. Sterile water we are using, no, while in injections purpose, sterile water, 0% microorganism, 0% contamination. Here we are using sterile oil for preserving the pure cultures. Various fungi like rhizophus, asparagus, Fusarium, Alternaria, Penicillium, etc. can be stored for the longer periods of time in the sterile oil. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, these are the selectively 6 methods of the preservating of the pure culture, my dear brothers and sisters. Yes, for today it's enough. Now, inshallah, in next class we will discuss about some more 10 marks very important questions in this chapter, that is pharmaceutical in this subject, pharmaceutical microbiology. So be with me, join with me, and increase your mind strength, my dear brothers and sisters. Okay, increase your concentration in this subject. Easily you can pass this subject. Only you do these important questions, you solve what I am telling you. For today, one question means you solve that one question. Practice that, means definitely you will pass in the examination. From today only we will begin, and at end, okay, we will break the result board. Yes, my dear brothers and sisters, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.